All right, so we are going to be covering parallel lines and transversals next, okay? So parallel lines are, so if we recall from our previous lesson, parallel lines are two lines that never intersect. So they are equally spaced apart, okay? So the symbol for parallel is, and then they give us the symbol, which we covered in the last lesson as well. And so they give you an example what two parallel lines look like. So when you're reading this as a sentence, it is read, line AB is parallel to line CD. Now, if you see these little arrowheads on the lines, that's the way that they tell you from the picture that those two lines are parallel. So you read, line M is parallel to line N. All right, so a transversal is a line that intersects two or more lines. So identify the parallel lines in the diagram. So by looking at our diagram here, you see these little arrowheads right here. That means that these two lines are parallel. So that means that S is parallel to T. Then it says, identify the transversal. So the line that's intersecting these two parallel lines is line R, right here. So the way that we write this is line R. Oh, okay. The parallel lines and transversal lines form 8 angles. These angles have special names identifying their their position with respect to the parallel lines and the transversal. So if you have two pairs of parallel lines and they're cut by a transversal, we have some special things that happen, okay? So these are my parallel lines. This is my transversal. And so corresponding angles. Now I'm gonna go ahead and erase these colors because it might get a little bit messy. But corresponding angles is, if you notice, angle 1 is on top of line S, but to the left of transversal R, which corresponds to angle here on line T. They are exactly the same. Okay, they have the same positions on the parallel line. So identify the other pairs of corresponding angles. So angle 1 and angle 3 are corresponding angles. It wants us to identify the other ones. Whoops. I'm just going to make my own space. Angle 1 and angle 3, these are considered corresponding angles. So they want us to identify the other one. So if we notice here, 5 is on the right side of our transversal, but still above our parallel line. So 5 would correspond to 7. So angle 5 and angle 7. Okay. Now, angle 2 is below the parallel line and to the left of our transversal. So angle 2 and angle 4 have the same positions, okay? And then last we have here, angle 6 corresponds to angle 8. Angle 6 corresponds to angle 8. So there's something special about these angles. These angles are what are congruent. I don't think it tells us here just yet, but your corresponding angles are going to be congruent. Congruent. All right. So next, here we have alternate interior angles. Okay, so these angles are between the parallel lines and on alternate sides of the transversals, like angles 2 and 7 in the diagram. Identify the other pairs of alternate interior angles. Okay, so if we look inside the parallel lines, here are my parallel lines, this is the inside. So that's where the word interior comes from, because this is inside the parallel lines. Inside. Okay, so 2 and 7 are on alternate sides of the transversal, 2 and 7. So the other pair of alternate interior angles would be 3 and 6. Okay, so there's also something special about alternate interior angles. They are also congruent. Congruent. we have alternate exterior angles. So if this is interior, then that means that this is the outside, okay? Which the word for outside would be exterior. Exterior. Okay, so we're not worried about the interior. Exterior. We're worried about the exterior because they're alternate exterior angles. Now, alternate means on opposite sides of the transversal. So 1 is on the left of the transversal, 8 is on the right side. So the other pair of alternate exterior angles would be 4 and 5. And these are also congruent, which means they are equal in measure. And the last ones are your same side interior or consecutive angles. So this one has 2 different names. So I don't want you guys to get confused. They're either same side interior, which is in the name. They're inside the parallel lines and they're on the same side of the transversal. So for example, 2 and 3 are on the same side. So those are called same side interior. Now they're also called consecutive angles. They're called consecutive angles because they're right next to each other. Okay. Now these ones are not congruent. This is the only pair of angles that are not congruent, or the special pair of angles. These are supplementary. Supplementary. Okay, so identify the other pair of same side interior angles. So 2 and 3. The other pair would be 6 and 7. Okay, so it says on these diagrams, we can also identify the pairs of angles that we learned on a previous lesson. So there's also other types of special angles, okay? You have vertical angles. So vertical angles, we covered this before. Your vertical angles are straight across from each other. So 1 and 6. 2 is straight across from 5. It's bothering me that they don't have the little angle sign. Angle 6, angle 5. Angle 3 is vertical with 8. And angle 4 is vertical with angle 7. Okay, let me erase this for the next section. We have linear pairs. Now we have a lot of linear pairs. So if you notice, 1 and 5 are on this straight line. So angle 1 and angle 5. Okay, not only, so then that means that 2 and 6 are also a linear pair. And then we have 3 and 7 going this way. So angle 3 and angle 7. And on the bottom end, we have 4 and 8. Angle 4 and angle 8. Okay. And then we went diagonally, or like straight across. So now we can go in the opposite direction. So for example, 1 and 2 are also on the same line. So angle 1 and angle 2. And on the opposite side would be 5 and 6. Angle 6. And we do the same thing for these ones. 3 and 4 are on the same line as well. Angle 3 and angle 4. And then on this side, 7 and 8. Okay. And we know that our vertical angles are also congruent. And our linear pair are supplementary. Okay, remember supplementary means that they add up to 180. Supplementary. All right, so we have our pairs of angles. Okay, we have corresponding alternate interior, alternate exterior, and same side interior. So starting off with corresponding. Now 1 is in the same position as 5. So angle 1 and angle 5. 3 is in the same position as 7. So angle 3 and angle 7. 2 is in the same position as 6. So angle 2 and angle 6. And 4 and 8. So angle 4 and angle 8. Okay. Oh, I put those in the wrong spots. Whoops. Angle 4 and angle 8. This is angle 3 and angle 6. Sorry about that. erase this. Now, alternate interior angles. So we're only worried about the inside angles. Okay. So this is inside my parallel lines. Okay. Alternate, that means on opposite sides. So 3 is on an alternate side of 6. So angle 3 and angle 6. And then we have 5 and 4. So angle 5 and angle 4. Next is alternate exterior. So this is going to be my exterior. This is outside, okay? And alternate, so 1 would be alternate to 8, angle 1 and angle 8. And 2 would be alternate to 7. So angle 2 and angle 7. Okay. Then we have same side interior. So back to looking at the inside. So same side, we're looking for the ones that are on the same side of the transversal. So 3 and 5 are on the same side, angle 3 and angle 5. And for this section, 4 and 6 are on the same side and inside the parallel lines. So angle 4 and angle 6. Okay. So remember, corresponding alternate interior and alternate exterior, all of these are congruent. Congruent. And then this one is the one that's supplementary. Supplementary. Okay. So here it says in each diagram, identify angles 1 and 2 as corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, or same side interior angles. So all we're doing is giving the name. So here, 1 and 2, both of them are on the outside. They're on the exterior. And they're on alternate sides of the transversal. So I'm going to abbreviate, but it's alternate exterior. And I'm going to use the symbol for angles. Okay, this next one, 2 is in the interior, 1 is in the exterior. So they're not alternate interior, alternate exterior, and they're not same side interior because they're not both inside. These ones are corresponding because they have the same position. They're to the right of the transversal and above the parallel line. So these are corresponding. Okay, the next one here, we have this little space in between. This is 1 and 2. They're both inside the parallel lines. They're both on alternate sides of the transversal. So this is alternate interior angle. So I am abbreviating because it is kind of long and doesn't fit. Okay, look at this one. Both of these angles are inside again, but they're not on alternate sides of the transversal. These are on the same side. So these are same side interior, or they're also called consecutive angles. Consecutive. Okay, the next one. Okay, so here they have this line to confuse you. I don't want you guys to get confused, so we have to ignore that line. Since we're ignoring it, I'm going to go ahead and paint over it with white. So we're ignoring this. Okay, they're both on this transversal right here. So there's another line I want you guys to ignore. I want you guys to ignore this line. So now I want you guys to get all worked up because there's all these extra lines. Now looking at these, one's on the exterior, one is on the interior. So then they're not going to be alternate exterior, alternate interior. But if we notice, this one is under the parallel line to the right of the transversal. And so is this one under the parallel line on the bottom of the transversal. So these are called corresponding. We're going to do the same thing for this one. We're going to ignore this line right here because angle 1 and angle 2 have nothing to do with this line. Okay, and then this is the transversal that they are on. So we are going to ignore this line. So we're ignoring those lines. And so then in this case, if we notice, they're both on the exterior of the parallel lines. And they're on alternate sides of the transversal. So these are called alternate exterior angles. All right, so we have the next one. All right, so we have angle 1 and angle 2. We're going to ignore the lines that it's not on. So it is not on this line right here, on this parallel line. And they are not on this transversal right here. Okay, so now that we're trying to ignore those lines, we notice that they're both inside the parallel lines. Okay, and so since they're both inside the parallel lines and they're on alternate sides of the transversal, these are alternate interior angles. And last, okay, I'm not going to erase all the lines this time, okay? We have to mentally ignore the lines. So if we ignore all the lines that it's not on, angle 1 and angle 2 are both inside the parallel lines. And not just that, they're on the same side of the transversal. So these are same side interior. Alrighty. So here it says, when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the angles formed are congruent, or the same measure, or they're supplementary, meaning that their sum of their measures equals 180. For example, we have 110, 70, 70, 110. So they give us an example here. Now, I do need you guys to keep in mind, we have obtuse angles. These are my obtuse angles. Okay, I know you guys are really good at identifying obtuse angles and acute angles. These are acute angles, which means they're less than 90 degrees. Okay, all your acute angles will be the same. All your obtuse angles will be the same. If you have an acute and an obtuse angle together, they will add up to 180. So for example, here, I'm going to label these with my obtuse and my acute. So this is an obtuse angle, this is an obtuse angle, this one is obtuse, and this one is obtuse. This is my acute angle, this is my acute angle, this is my acute angle, this is my acute angle. Okay, so now they tell us that this angle here is 84. That's less than 90 degrees. That's my acute angle. So that means this is 84, this is 84, and this is 84. Okay, then to find my obtuse angle, we are going to do 180 minus 84, which gives me 96. So that means that the obtuse angles are 96 degrees. So 96, 96, this is getting kind of messy, 96 and 96. Try to write a little bit better next time. Okay, the next one. So here they tell us this is 111. That is obviously our obtuse angle. So that means this angle is also obtuse. This one's obtuse and this one's obtuse, which means all of these are 111 degrees. 111 degrees. 111 degrees. To find my acute angle, I'm going to have to do 180 minus 111, and that gives me 69. So that means my acute angles are 69. So this one's 69, this one's 69, this one's 69, and this one is 69. Okay. So next, this one is 47. So if this one's 47, this is also an acute angle. This side is an acute angle, so 47, 47, and this one is also 47. Okay, then to find your obtuse angle, you're going to do 180 minus 47, and that gives me 133. So that means all my obtuse angles are 133 degrees. So this one's 133, this one is 133, this one is 133, and this one is 133. Alrighty. The next one. So this time we have two pairs of parallel lines, and we know that because they put one arrow here and one arrow here, which means those two are parallel. Okay. Then they use double arrows. Okay, that means that this one is parallel to this one. That way you don't think this one is parallel to this one, because obviously they're not parallel, which is why they have to use the two arrows. Okay, so then from there, I'm going to go ahead and look. This is 78. That is my acute angle, so that means this is 78 degrees. So if I look here, this one is 78, and this is 78. Okay, and then we translate this right here, to here. Okay, so this is 78, and this is 78. And we translate this to here as well. 78, 78. Okay, and you notice all of these match up. So now we're going to do our obtuse angles, which go this way. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and erase all these things because it looks way too messy. Okay, so then to find these obtuse angles, we do 180. And we subtract 78, and that gives us 102. So that means all of these are 102 degrees. Okay, so you only have two options for these numbers, okay? So it's very hard to get these wrong, okay? You either have it 78 or 102, okay? You should make sure that they look, or that the patterns all match. It's like a little pattern that you can pick up on. You notice this is the exact same thing as here, which is the exact same thing as here, which is the exact same thing as here, and the exact same order as well. And that's it. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys in the next lesson. Bye.